If you feel trapped by your anxiety and exhausted from living in constant survival mode, this video is for you. For years, I was suffering from chronic anxiety and it was physically painful. I tried CBT, talk therapy, positive thinking, you name it. Sure, this helped a bit, but I never got a real relief. I stayed miserable and felt like my own mind was my worst enemy. But after months of deep research, especially studying Dr. Russell Kennedy's work, I finally recovered. So in this video, I'm gonna share everything that helped me heal anxiety. You will discover why anxiety is not a thinking problem, what is actually happening in your body when you're anxious, how is your childhood still controlling your life, and why traditional therapy often falls short, and the body-based healing system that actually works. My goal with this video is to share everything I've learned and give you as much value as possible. And I only want to ask one thing in return. I want you to be patient with this video. And I know it is hard when you are suffering every day. And I completely understand your urge to find relief as quickly as possible. But if you don't understand what is happening in your mind and your body, you will keep trying surface level solutions that keep you stuck. So let me start by sharing something that will completely change how you see anxiety. Anxiety isn't one thing. It is actually two separate experiences that happen at the same time. There is a mental part, the worry thoughts, the what ifs, and the scary stories that your mind make up about the future. And then there is the physical part, the painful sensations you feel around your chest, your throat, your stomach. You know, the tight, heavy, panicky feeling that makes you want to crawl out of your own skin. Now, let me be clear about something important. Anxiety itself isn't bad. It is completely healthy and it is necessary for our survival. When you are crossing a busy street or giving some crucial presentation or having important life event, the surge of alertness and energy is exactly what your body is designed to do. You need anxiety to keep you safe and help you perform. But if you wake up anxious, go to sleep anxious, and spend your day feeling like something terrible is always about to happen, when there is objectively nothing to worry about, when you are physically safe, you have a chronic anxiety. And if that sounds like your experience, what I'm about to share will completely change everything. I used to believe my thoughts were causing the pain. It seems obvious. If I could just change my thoughts, I could change how I feel. So I've spent so many times trying to think positively, trying to reframing my thoughts, and using logic to tell myself that I am physically safe and there is nothing to worry about. But no matter how much I tried, I was still in pain. So I started to pay close attention to my mind and my body. And I started noticing something extremely weird. On some days, I would have anxious thoughts like, what if I'm a failure? And I'd be like, whatever, it doesn't matter, it's just stupid anxious thoughts. Then I would go on with my day. But on others' day, the same thought would sent me into a complete panic attack. The difference wasn't the thought itself. The thought was same. But the difference was what I was feeling in my body. When I feel relaxed and calm, the thoughts doesn't bother me at all. But when my body feels tense and on edge, then the thoughts become extremely scary, and that's what sent me into a panic attack. And this completely flipped my understanding about anxiety. The anxious thoughts aren't causing the anxiety. They're just responding to something that is already happening in our body. All these intrusive thoughts like, what if I lose my job? What if my health is terrible? What if everyone thinks I'm a loser? All of these things aren't the problem. They are not the main disease. They are like a high body temperature reading telling you that you have a fever. When you have a fever, you don't treat the thermometer reading, right? It is stupid. They're just pointing to something that is happening to your body. The same goes here. All these anxious thoughts are not the problem. And they are all alerting you to something that is happening in your body. And it has nothing to do with medical problem at all. Your body is constantly sending signals that doesn't feel safe or settled. Your mind detect these signals and try to explain them by creating worry thoughts. But then this creates a vicious cycle. Your body feels that ulcer pain and sends an alarm signal. Your mind detects its alarm and think, danger. Something must be wrong. So it creates worry thoughts like, what if I get fired, or what if I'm having a heart attack? But those worry thoughts then make your body produce even more alarm, which convince your mind that there really is something to worry about. More alarm creates more worry thoughts, which creates more alarm. It is a feedback loop that feeds on itself. Think of it like a boat with a hole in it. The worried thoughts are all the water flooding in, but the store pain in your body is the hole that is causing the main problem. You can spend all day long bailing out the water by changing your thoughts, but the boat will sink because you are not addressing the root problem. Once you see this clearly, your whole approach will shift. You will stop fighting with your thoughts and start to address what is actually happening in your body. You're going to realize that scare, worry part inside your head isn't your enemy. It is just a confused part of you trying to protect you from a danger that don't exist anymore. But then the question comes, how did that store pain or alarm come? And it mainly has to do with your childhood. When you were little, your brain was still developing. You didn't have all the mental capacities to deal with overwhelming experiences like the adults do. So when difficult things happen, like parents fighting, feeling unsafe, being scared and alone, and being criticized or anything, your nervous system faced a huge problem. Where do all these intense feelings go? They got stored in your body. Your nervous system essentially became a warehouse for all those unprocessed emotional pain. This is the reason why you can be sitting in a completely safe environment and still feel panic. Your body is responding to danger signals from decades ago, the painful alarms that never got turned off. But then the question comes again, what kind of childhood experiences create this kind of stored pain? And there are 6 main categories that can be too much for a young child to handle. Any physical, emotional, or sexual abuse is devastating for a child and will be stored in the body as an alarm. Major losses like the death of a parent, sibling, or even a beloved pet can be more than a child can process, even in emotionally healthy families. When a child feels their caregiver has left them, it is completely overwhelming. This can be physical abandonment, but also emotional, when parents are physically present but emotionally unavailable. Being rejected by friends or family through bullying or humiliation can be devastating for a child. School can become an alarming environment. Being forced to act like an adult before you are ready. Becoming a caregiver for parents, especially experiencing sexual activity too early, or being exposed to adult problems creates stored alarm. Anything that the child perceives as deeply shameful about themselves will create alarm that got locked in the body. The important thing is you don't even need obvious stored trauma to have this stored alarm in your body. For me, the relationship with my father was the root cause of my anxiety, although it took me years to understand that. My father wasn't abusive or violent, but he was an extremely anxious person. Being around him felt like living with someone who was always expecting disaster. He was restless, unpredictable, and always on edge about something. Our home felt more like a military camp than a safe place. So I learned to stay alert constantly, reading his mood and anticipating his reaction. Don't get me wrong, he loved me and he provided for me and he never tried to harm me. But his own unhealed anxiety created an environment where it never feels safe for me to relax. Even in quiet moments, there is this underlying tension, a sense that anything could go wrong at any moment. As a child, I learned that my safety is dependent on managing his emotional status. If he was anxious, I was in danger, so I become hyper vigilant, constantly scanning his face, his tone, his body language to predict the next outburst or his next anxiety. And this is how most childhood anxiety develop. You lose track of where your parents' emotions needs and yours begin. Your young mind believes, if I can just keep them safe, calm and relaxed, then I can be safe, instead of other way around. You become responsible for someone's emotional needs because you feel like your survival is dependent on it. I diverted all my energy from learning who I was as a person and instead focused on expert at reading other people's emotional needs. I felt like I needed to put everyone else's needs first because only then I felt safe. And this is why so many of us anxious adults are labeled as highly sensitive or people pleasers. We learn from a young age that other people's needs are far more important than ours. We develop emotional radar system that never got shut off. And all these childhood survival strategies follow you into your adulthood, where they become the very own thing that are keeping you stuck. Self-criticism becomes your default mode because if you attack yourself first, maybe others won't reject you. I'm not good enough. I'm too sensitive. I always mess things up. These thoughts feel safer than risking someone else's disappointment. People pleasing becomes compulsive because saying no still feels dangerous. You would rather exhaust yourself from meeting everyone else's need than risking someone's being upset with you. Perfectionism becomes a prison because good enough still doesn't feel safe. If you can just be perfect, maybe then you will finally be worthy of love and acceptance. Emotional numbness becomes your protection because feeling too much feels too risky. You learn to disconnect from your own feelings to avoid being overwhelmed by them again. There is another thing that is going to surprise you. Worrying isn't about the future at all. It is actually your mind's way of avoiding the painful sensation that you feel in your body right now. Think about it. When do you worry the most? It is normally when you are still, when you have a space to think. Your brain has learned that staying busy with your thoughts, especially thinking about anxious thoughts, is safer than going back to that old pain that you experienced as a child. Now let's find that old pain that's lived in your body. Take a deep breath and close your eyes, and then go back to your past memory where you feel anxious and got panic attack. Which part of your body that you feel the most intense painful sensation? It is normally around the midline, around from your throat to your stomach. It is between that line. For me, it is around my chest. That painful sensation. It felt like someone was grabbing my heart and poking holes with a needle. It was physically so damn painful. For some people, it is around their throat. For some people, it is around their stomach. Everyone is different. And if you can't find it straight away, don't stress it out. It is normal. But the more you try to be aware of your body sensation, you will find it sooner. That physical sensation or alarm has been quietly influencing every decision you take, every relationship you enter, every risk you take. It has been running your life from the shadow. It thinks it is making you safe, but it is actually making you even worse. And I think because of that, most therapies don't work for anxiety. I want to be clear. I have nothing against CBT or talk therapy. They provide valuable support, provide great insight and tools. But they only address the mental part of your anxiety. They're only addressing the symptoms instead of addressing the root cause. That's the reason why every time you do those things, you find some relief, but only for temporary. And when you're actually having panic attack, those all feel useless because your body was the root cause of your anxiety. So in order to actually heal, we need to do a somatic therapy or body-based healing. And then only after when we feel safe, we can go into CBT or things like that. We need to prioritize the body approach first. And that is what we're gonna talk next. The system that I'm about to share completely changed my life, and it is based on one simple truth. You can't think your way out of a body problem. You have to feel through it. When you notice anxiety starting, whether it is worry thoughts or physical sensation, the first step is to pause and locate the sensation in your body. This isn't about stopping the anxiety. This is about shifting you from being lost in worry thoughts to becoming aware of what is happening to your body. Take 1 to 2 deep breaths and put your hand on that part of the sensation. It is going to ground yourself, and it is going to really shift you onto that present moment. Once you ground yourself, breathe onto that sensation. Focus all of your attention into that sensation and just do deep breathings. And this is more than doing just normal deep breathings. Your entire focus is on that sensation. And the more you do that, you are shifting yourself from that fight or flight survival state to rest and relax parasympathetic state. You are trying to relax your body, and your mind will create all sorts of worry thoughts at the same time. It will create, but don't panic and just focus your attention entirely on the sensation and breathe and it is not going to be easy. As I've said, Your mind will create at its best to create all the worried thoughts, but you have to try your best to stay on that sensation for as long as possible, even though it is painful. And the step 3 is to connect and comfort. This is where the real healing happens. And as I said before, the sensation is the younger part of you screaming for help. Instead of trying to get rid of that feeling, you are trying to comfort it. You are going to be that emotional available person that you needed when you were a child. The point is to comfort yourself. The point is to be with that sensation. The point is to be with that inner part of you. Say to yourself that I'm here for you. You don't have to feel danger. The exact what doesn't matter. What matters is you are emotionally available to that younger part of you. And you might feel some emotions come up, maybe grief, sadness, or you may even want to cry or whatever. Don't suppress those. Let them out. That's how you heal. That's how you process. You are allowing yourself to feel. And feeling your emotion, feeling your pain doesn't mean you are weak. Avoiding them, suppressing them, and trying to go away from them is weak. And step 4 is to trust and move forward. This isn't about forcing yourself to do things when you are feeling terrible. This is about moving forward while staying connected and giving passion to yourself. After that 3 steps you've done, you will see that your anxiety will be dropped significantly. Even if then some sort of anxiety, you can now act from a place of self-support rather than self-abandonment. The more you try to move forward just by having that anxiety, just by having that uncomfortable feeling, you are building yourself an evidence that you can move forward despite the uncertainty and despite the pain. And unlike the past experiences, you are not abandoning yourself anymore. You are connecting with yourself, you are giving compassion to yourself, and you're taking action. This might seem kind of simple, or maybe you might cringe for the step 3, like, why should I connect with my inner child? This sounds so woo. This is stupid. I should not be doing this. I know. When I first learned about this concept, I had that thought as well. But you have to realize that no one is coming to save you. It's a fact. And you had abandoned yourself long time ago in the past. And that's not your fault either. You didn't know that. And the painful sensations that you feel are so damn scary, so you just try to push them away. Now you have a chance to be with that part of you. Do you really think it is a good idea to push it away? Imagine this. If you see a child crying in front of you, would you just let a child keep crying? No, right? You would pick it up and comfort it. The same is happening to you. Your inner child is crying. It never got the emotional security. Now you have the knowledge and compassion to give it to yourself. So try to be with yourself. And the more you repeat these steps, the more you will able to handle anxiety. And I'm going to be clear, it is not easy. Even though it is simple, it is very uncomfortable, it is very painful. But if you want long-term success, you have to face some short-term discomfort right now. And I want to be clear about something. Healing isn't linear. You won't wake up one day and realize, oh yeah, anxiety isn't there anymore. No, anxiety will always be there, and you will have setbacks, especially in the start. You often feel like you are making progress, and all of a sudden you went to the step 1 again. It will happen. The key is you need to keep repeating the 4 steps over and over and over again. Over time, they will start to feel natural, and your brain will rewire itself. You might have a question like, how long will it take to heal? It depends. There is no right answer. But I can tell you one thing. Healing your anxiety depends on how willing you are to sit with that pain that you have been avoiding. The more safely you can allow yourself to feel that pain, the faster you will heal. But let me be clear. If that trauma feels so unbearable and scary, you don't have to do alone. Seek for professional help, especially with somatic therapy or someone who have body-based healing experience. So please be patient and kind with yourself. Progress isn't about getting rid of anxiety. Progress is about slowly building a relationship with yourself where anxiety no longer controls your life. I hope this video helps, and thank you so much for watching, guys.